ECX Torment review. This is a new ECX Torment. I just got it about 2 weeks ago. Got it from a local hobby shop. Chose the red body. I've run 4 or 5 battery packs through it. Let's check it out. First thing I didn't like is the battery connector. Alright, I like Dean's. It came with a ECX connector, a blue one. So I changed that. Also, on this thing up front, this was straight across. I took a Dremel tool and ground that out because some of my batteries are hard packs, and I like to have the balance plug plugged into one of these things, so alarm goes off at 3.2 volts per cell, so I don't over discharge my LiPo batteries, even though this thing is LiPo ready. This neat little ESC, don't have to program it or anything, has this little plastic plug in it right here. You move it to this side of the pins, and then that's for nickel metal hydride. It won't have a cutoff. You put it over here to this side, so those 2 pins, now it's a LiPo mode, so then it does have battery cutoff. So I run the alarm with it too, just in case, because I didn't know if I trusted it or not. The battery that it comes with, walk over here, is this 20C 1800 milliamp 1C charge rate. With 1800 milliamp, that means you can only charge this at 1.8 volts. And there's the connector that it came with, which I don't like, so I put an adapter on it for Dean's. Alright, this thing ran in the brushed one in my yard, back and forth, full blast for 7 minutes. That was the run time. Like I said, it's a brushed motor. I ran this battery pack, 5040C. It's about 3 years old, so it's not the best battery pack. See what I was talking about with that balance plug? It ran for 15 minutes in the same vehicle. So I definitely suggest you buy a better battery, unless you only run for 7 minutes and then have to charge it up for half an hour or 2 hours. Other than that, this truck is awesome. Great, strong. It's like bulletproof. One of the best features if you're going to buy a truck or just now getting into RC, on the controller, see the 50, 75, 100 right here on this throttle limiter? That gives you 50% power, 75% power, or 100% power. So when you first are learning, or you buy this for your, teenager or child or something, or you want to just loan it out to somebody, at the track, put it on half power. If they look like they're doing good, bump it up a little bit. In case you don't know what these things mean, throttle, normal, reverse, steering, normal, reverse. The reason why controllers have that, sometimes when you put in a new motor or something, or if you change speed controls, you might have to flip this. If it's going, when you pull the trigger, if it makes it go backwards, flip your throttle to reverse. Servo the same way. If you turn right and it's turning left, then flip that to reverse, and then that'll make it go the opposite direction. Throttle trim, steering trim, that's for if it keeps going when you let off the trigger, you want to back down your throttle trim. So your steering trim, if it's turning right or left, if it's like pulling, like out of alignment, you adjust the steering trim. The steering rate and throttle rate, this is also on some other controllers, says dual rate. And what that does is it limits, you turn this dial, and you can turn down how far your steering wheel will turn the wheels. The advantage of that is like, say you're running on a dirt track, and every time you come into a turn, you crank it too hard and your rear end spins around or something, then maybe you want to adjust that down so when you still turn, it don't turn the front wheels quite as far. I usually run mine full tilt so that way I can run, turn as tight as possible, because I'm just playing in the yard and in the alley and in the street, so it doesn't matter. The throttle dual rate is basically the same thing as this does. It's 50, 75, 100. It'll just limit how much juice you can put to the motor, and kind of back it down. So if you give it to your kid and, you got it down on 50% because you're, training him or whatever, and he wants it to go faster, so he keeps flipping it up to 100 on you, now crank that down on him, Then he can flip it up to 100 and it still goes slower. So that's a great feature for a beginner to RC. This is a great truck for a beginner. It's a great truck for someone who's not a beginner. It's brushed. It's $190 at your local hobby shop. Like I said, it comes with the battery, that controller, and this little cheap charger. I wouldn't suggest, this charger works fine and it'll charge just as fast as a good one because of the charge rate on that battery. I wouldn't suggest using this charger. I suggest buying a good one, because LiPo batteries have to be stored at a storage voltage of 7.6 to 7.7 volts, and that way you get more life out of your LiPo. So I suggest buying a better charger and a better battery. Other than that, this truck's great. If you upgraded the brushless motor to the brushed motor to a brushless motor, I would say you'll probably get an additional 10 to 15 minutes of runtime out of the same batteries, because they're about twice as efficient. So that 7-minute battery might run for 15 minutes. The other battery that was running for 15, it'll probably run 25, 30 minutes. That's the biggest difference on brushless to brushed, is the efficiency and how hot it is when it gets done, because they don't waste all their power to heat. So there it is. ECX Torment is a great car, tough as nails. You can run this thing into anything. It has the best feature for if I'm going to buy one for my son or daughter that I've ever seen. Traxxas has 50% training mode, but you got to push this button, wait for this beep, and all this kind of business on the ESC. This, you flip the switch, full blast, whatever. So way easier. Yep, that's it.